Greetings, folks. How is everybody? All right. Got another minute before we get started. Everyone have a good weekend? We make good progress on the Data Express. You might have noticed it says part 1. That implies that perhaps, just maybe, there is a part 2. All right, it is 1:30. Let's get started. I'm a little concerned. There are several teams that have not turned in part 1 yet. There are several teams that have. I intend to be talking to teams a bit today. I don't know if I will get through all of the teams, but especially since I do want to talk about the next piece of this assignment. Yes, when one person turns it in for the entire team, because that's how the group projects get assigned. Let's see here. Just taking a look at a few things. Okay. Let me share my screen before we get too far into things. Because there are going to be some tricky parts about this next assignment, and I will be doing some lectures and things on this a little bit later. So assignments, Okay, here it is, part 2. For this lab, your team is going to be adding several features to the last project, the Data Express Part 1. By the way, you can still submit the Data Express Part 1 up until the 29th, but it does lock down at the beginning of class on the 29th, like all the other projects. This adds several features. Okay, so you're going to create an API that provides stats from the multiple choice questions answered by the users in JSON format. You could be able to access the data by going to localhost:3000/API. Does that make sense to people? I'm seeing some people go, Joe's got it. Saw a thumbs up there. So a lot of other people are like, ooh, what do you mean create an API? So you're going to be creating that data and you're going to be able to show it to me in JSON format. And if it's in JSON format, that means you could write a front-end JavaScript that could read that data. So speaking of that, on the home page, you're going to use a front-end JavaScript file to read the data from the API, and it will display it in a bar graph for each question drawn on an HTML5 canvas. Isn't that cool? And some of you are thinking, maybe Joe is thinking, maybe Ryan's thinking, because I know they've done some coding before, ooh, can I use Chart.js or Plotly? No. You're going to write your own. You're going to create your own graphing application there. You're going to show how many people chose each answer for each question. Be sure to label the graph so people can tell what they're looking at. Then you're going to use the Adorable Avatars API. It's a completely different API. This is a fun API. I like this API, even though the avatars are hideous. To create unique avatars for each user. So the users are going to be able to make their own avatars. Won't that be cool? When users sign up or edit their profile, create some type of front-end JavaScript app that lets them edit their avatar. Well, let's take a look at Adorable Avatars right now. And they call them adorable. There's really nothing adorable about them. They're hideous. And here I'm altering sizes and things, but that's not really what you want to be using. This doesn't help much. It doesn't show how you can edit. Now here, we've got something a little cooler. So here's an example. And it shows what information you need. So here's the different information. Oh, look, it's in JSON format. There are different eyes, nose, mouth. Oh, the example link they broke. That's not good. When did they break this? This used to actually work. Okay. They are saying that they have updated their listing and that they've got old avatars. In truth, I think they broke some things. I will do a demo on this in the not so distant future, maybe tomorrow. And I'll show you how you can create your own avatars. The avatars are really cool because you can change their color, you can change the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. This shows you your different options for each. But ultimately, you're going to create an app that will make it easy for the user to make changes. So maybe you'll have sliders for each or drop downs for each. I'll show you how it works. It'll be cool. Okay. Fix anything from part 1 that didn't work properly. Since there are several teams that have not turned in part 1, I'm going to guess that there are several teams that are going to need to look at that requirement before part 2 happens. Okay, style the site so it doesn't look terrible unless you've already done this for part 1. You may use an external library for picking colors, but not for displaying charts and graphs or anything else for that matter. So there are some cool libraries out there that allow you to pick colors. And you might be wondering, why do I need to be able to pick colors? Well, you need to pick colors so that you can pick cool colors for your avatar. Each individual must submit a team evaluation form under the evaluation assignment. I'll add that later. Failing to do so will drop your individual grade by an automatic 10%. Don't be that person. Submit the team evaluation form. Pass-offs for this lab will be done in class and submitted on a USB drive rather than submitting online. No late submissions will be accepted. It's worth 150 points. In order to avoid CORS errors, why do you get CORS errors? Anyone know?
Something.
That was very
something to do with like other websites.
yeah. So it's a cross origin origin. Chrome has some security protections in there to try and keep stuff running on your machine from well, it's actually not just Chrome, it's more internet wide these days. When you see JSON data, you have to have permission to actually use it on a website. So you can actually bring up JSON data in your browser, but not access it through JavaScript. JavaScript, if you don't have access given, you're not going to be able to actually read that data and use it, even if you can view the JSON data on the screen if you go directly to the path. So you're going to want to add this little app.use. So what is this, do you think? What type of thing are we looking at? We've written something like this. I'll give you a hint, it's an interceptor. What type of interceptor? Global or single interceptor? Oh, I got some chats in there. Yes. It is a magic, no, it is a global interceptor. So it automatically applies to everything. And basically what we're doing here is we're saying, if you look here, the access control allow origin, we've got a star in here in quotes. I know it's kind of hard to read that that's an asterisk, but it is. And that's basically saying we are allowing access to anybody that requests it. Does that make sense? If you don't have that line in there, you will get CORS errors and it's going to drive you nuts. Oh, look. Even though the documentation page is a little lame, I actually went ahead and was smart enough to put in an example of adorable avatars. Now, this is not an adorable avatar. And you'll notice this part of your path will remain the same. But if I change, for instance, the eyes, I'll put eyes 3 in there. And I could change the nose. Let's put in a nose 5. And then let's change the mouth. And I'll change the mouth to, I don't know, 3. And this is a hex code. So if I wanted to, I could say, oh, let's make him bright green. 00FF00. Is that cool? And what's even cooler is you can use this as the source of an image tag, and it will display your avatar for you. Is that kind of neat? So you need to write some sort of app that uses this and allows people to change the values of their eyes, nose, mouth, and color. So they can customize and make their own avatar, which will then be saved with their account information so that when they log in, they've got an avatar. Is that kind of fun? You guys are like, I have no idea what he's talking about. Dylan, is that agreeing that you have no idea what I'm talking about, or do you understand what I'm talking about?
I slightly understand what you're talking about. Just executing it and trying to figure out how to do it is what's going on in my mind.
Fair enough. Yeah, so this is a different API than you're used to. You don't have to do any sort of fetch with this one. You will do a fetch on the API that you create with the answers to questions so that you can build your graph. But for this part, it's just a matter of changing these values and updating your picture. So, I can say, oh, let's go with mouth 1 and nose 4, eyes 2, and I'm going to change my color. You could go yellow, I suppose, FFFF00. And maybe some of you are thinking these avatars are adorable. I think they're kind of ugly, but it is a cool API, and I have no problem with people having ugly avatars. So then the next question is, when is this thing going to be due? Let's make sure this is a group assignment with our same groups. I'm kind of thinking I'll give you till June 3rd. The reason I'll give you till June 3rd, or actually, that's not right. Let's say June 4th is really what I want. Because you will be presenting these in class. There we go. As I mentioned, no late assignments. Does anyone have any questions about this? Maybe a little bit about the API aspect. I think maybe I'll write an API in class. We'll do that tomorrow or Friday. Or excuse me, tomorrow or Wednesday, rather.
So, Mr. Beatty, is this the final project?
Yeah, it is. I may throw an extra credit option at you too. I almost feel like it needs something else. I'll think about that. There's a chance I may add something else to it, because we do have a bit of time left. I am concerned, though, that there are several groups who have not hit the mark. All right, any questions? Cool. I'm going to break people up into groups. Stop my share. So yes, Anthony, in class, like over Zoom, you will share, someone in your group will share their screen and wow and impress us and walk us through the full process of logging in and editing our adorable avatars, answering questions, and show us how the graph changes when you do that. All right. Let me build out our rooms here. Okay, folks. So I mentioned to some of the groups, I am gonna, apparently I made a mistake on the, in setting up the assignment grading parameters. I forgot to check that it is a group assignment. So it looks like fewer people have turned it in than actually have. You don't need to do anything. We'll fix that in grading. But as a result, since people are not as behind as I was concerned about, there will probably be a part 3. It will be a small part 3. It'll probably be worth like 50 points. So you'll be able to do a little bit more. I need to think about exactly what I want to add to it. Over the next couple of days, I will do some demos. We'll build a small API together and maybe do a little bit of a review on HTML Canvas. But other than that, get to work, do cool things. If everyone could please do the participation survey before you sign out, I would appreciate it. It's pretty bad today, sorry. And other than that, have a good day, everyone. Do cool things. Learn to do something new. See y'all later.